SLU-PP332. What if a pill can mimic the effect of exercise, burn fat, increase insulin sensitivity, and potentially even reduce the age-related risk of decline, and ultimately made you fitter and healthier? It sounds like sci-fi, but with modern medicine, things are potentially getting closer than you might think. This is a drug we would class as an estrogen receptor related agonist. So not the estrogen receptor itself, but a related site. So by binding to this site, it can impact a lot of different things. So how your mitochondria work, your endurance capacity, and essentially the adaptations that you're going to get from endurance exercise. But in this case, the pill SLU-PP332 is going to stimulate that in and of itself. So obviously sounds amazing. And this is something where in the rodent models that we've been looking at, it's been incredibly promising. It's done some absolutely amazing things. And if I was going to read off a list, this is what we found from the research. We increased endurance by 70% in treadmill tests. It reduced fat gain by 10 times without changing any food intake. It improved insulin sensitivity and blood glucose regulation. It converted muscle fiber type to be more oxidative fatigue resistant types. Enhanced mitochondrial biogenesis, so we essentially had more energy producing mitochondria. Improved kidney function, improved heart function, and reduced inflammatory markers and silent cellular aging. And the most amazing thing about this is this happened without any exercise being added. So they got all the benefits of exercise without doing any of it. It was absolutely fantastic within this research. And the one that's probably most applicable to kind of the bodybuilding community is these guys lost way more body fat and they improved their cardiac function, essentially become healthier, fitter, and leaner with no other changes. So how does it work? As I mentioned before, it binds to these estrogen-related receptors and then stimulates the downstream activity, which causes your body to get the adaptation from an exercise that it didn't actually do in the first place. Is it safe? Well, in the animal models that we've got currently, there's been no adverse effects whatsoever. We've seen improved lipid profiles, as I mentioned. There's been no health and safety concerns. But the main thing to note here really is there's been no human data done on this. So whilst it appears to work very safely and no problem at all in rodent models, we have no data in humans at all. There's a lot of bodybuilding communities. There's a lot of sites starting to now sell this for human consumption. But unfortunately, we have no data to back that up. And the hardest part of this is A, knowing is it safe? And B, what sort of dose would that look like in a human? When we look at dosing, the kind of dosing we look at within the rodent models is 50 milligram per kilogram. Now, when we scale that to humans, it doesn't mean that we take the same dosing. We use what's called allometric scaling, where we scale to the size of the individual and we're not necessarily basing it on a milligram per kilogram basis. But even if we were to take kind of the low end marker of that, it's going to be around about 4 milligram per kilogram on the very, very low end, which is a lot more than what people are suggesting right now. And it could be much, much higher. That's if it even works at all. We know that some molecules within rodents don't actually have the same impact within humans because, funny enough, we aren't rats. So we're not actually sure, is it safe in humans? Is it actually able to be used within humans as well? So when we look at this drug, on paper, it looks absolutely fantastic. And I think everyone would agree, if you can get the effects of endurance exercise without doing any of the exercise itself, because let's be honest, who likes doing cardio? It would be amazing. And if you could just burn more body fat and get fitter by taking a pill, that sounds fantastic, especially in a bodybuilding population where it's improving cardiac function at the same time. Now, the main problem that I have with it, and I think a lot of people have, is that we have no human data. And if you follow Physique Collective at all, we're very much a believer of, has it been approved for human use? And this is a drug where it certainly hasn't been. Not only that, there are currently no trials undergoing this drug for human use to determine could we use it. If we're going to then try and say this is something we could use for bodybuilding, I think it's probably a bit premature to jump to that conclusion whatsoever. Not only are we unsure if it works, we're unsure if it's safe, and we're unsure what doses to use. The fact that there's no company in the world that's applied for this to go through human trials tells me perhaps it might not be as exciting as the bodybuilding community lends it to believe. However, if you want a further deep dive into this, we want to go into kind of a bit more thoughts on it, a bit more how this drug works, go over to physiquecollective.com. We'll do a bit of a deep dive and determine, is this something that you could be using if you're a bodybuilder or someone looking for absolute maximum physique outcomes? Is it going to be part of your drug stack or not?